Right, this is weird. You know, as soon as you set the camera up, you know you're in a different thing, aren't you? I need to plug that actually as well. So I'm actually going to put it, I don't have literally any followers, but I'm going to put it on YouTube as well. So I'll put the full conversation.
Does it look
so,
from camera angle turned? Or?
Let's just move that over a little bit. Put a little belt off your head. Yeah, it'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be able to sort of go in and everything with it. Oh, what's happening here? Right. Okay, right. Coffee. Well, alright.
Alright.
How are we doing? I thought we'd do something different for this video and testimonial from Phil. So instead of obviously just talking on a Zoom, we're looking at, talking in person, getting a few different ideas of Phil's experience with Relentless, with training as a whole, what his views are on it, and, just like why he does it on a regular basis. So, obviously I've known you for a long, long time now. So
Yeah.
how long trained you for?
About 8-9 years now.
9 years, okay. So Relentless moved over about 3 years ago. I've trained Phil and his partner Wendy for that time. Wendy before, personal trained. And obviously we used to train you strength training, classes.
Yeah, circuit as well.
Yeah. And how have you found that on the whole?
I've got to say, I think the circuit is more rewarding. I enjoy working with a group. So whether it's just a small group of people or a bigger group of people, the strength is okay, but I think you then dip out on your cardio. So I like the mix. So, I mean, there's a lot of talk around IROTs at the moment. That's a big thing. Yeah. But I like that because it keeps people's cardio going as well as a bit of strength. So it's a bit like the circuit. So.
Yeah. So we used to train you in strength classes predominantly, wasn't it? With a little bit of conditioning. So do you find that you still manage to get the strength training in a little bit?
I think so. I think it depends on what people are wanting out of keeping fit. I'm getting a bit older now. I'm not getting any younger. So I kind of work on fitness more than strength really. But I think the classes that you offer really do a good mix. You got the strength class on a Thursday, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
But again, just in the general classes, your circuit classes, you can up the weight if you want, and you encourage people to do that. Mm-hmm. But it's important for people to realise that it's at any level, so you can enter at any level with as long as you're doing the exercise. The weight is up to you. So, and some people doubt themselves in, I can't do that. But actually, if they've got a little bit of group encouragement, they do it, and then they're like, wow, I didn't realise I could do that. So.
One thing I like about the way sort of you train as well, just been knowing you before and now, is like if I put, say, a new person in the class, or say sometimes like Connie's like, she's 13-year-old now. Yeah. So we've got Connie, and then obviously you're potentially at the end of the spectrum, and a couple of others. But like you can literally train alongside her and encourage her. And I always notice that you make not a beeline, but you make sure you talk to all those and encourage the younger people. Yeah. So I think that's one of the best things about like the classes as well, is like I can literally pick yourself or a few other people, and I'll literally just intro you, say hello, this is so-and-so you're going to work with, and you literally look after them. Obviously you and Craig and a couple of us don't always hear me, but apart from that, like putting you with anyone in the class, I think that's one of the best things about it, is like everybody's open to helping each other.
Relentless is a strange name for I don't know whether sometimes it might put people off, because it couldn't be further from that really. It probably feels relentless when we're running somewhere.
It should be relentless, but...
But the camaraderie in Relentless is quite unique. And I mean that. I know we're talking, but people can't understand that unless they come and experience it. Yeah. Even on the challenges that we've done, like we did the 3 peaks last year. And as you said, we were doing it with Connie, she was 13, 14 then. And she's keeping up with the grown-ups. Yeah. But the camaraderie that builds in people away from the gym, and you get to know people more. And I think that's important because, when you come in for that 1 hour, we're just training, aren't we?
Yeah.
but people actually socialise somehow in between as well as working hard. They all put a shift in, I've got to say that. You don't have to beat people, they just enjoy pushing themselves.
Everyone's at their own pace, aren't they? So you know which ones want to up it. I know we're going to come on to nutrition and stuff, and obviously what people want outside of the gym, which is included, but everybody can work at their own pace. So like, I know, again, we're going to come on to injuries as well. Sort of like if somebody's got an injury, just make sure that you can just do an exercise but not make it any worse. And there's no point, because you're going to be in pain, you're not going to enjoy the session, you're not going to come back. So there's so many reasons why we just need to make sure that everyone's looked after.
And confidence, that's the biggest thing. That's what you instill into people here. And you won't realise that sometimes, but people just grow in confidence and you can see them change. And I think that's some achievement really, for somebody to be able to change somebody's life and help them both mentally after, people have gone through COVID, different things where they've been challenged, and coming into the gym, making that a better person, help them become a better person themselves. When you look in that mirror and you think, I like what I'm seeing, the changes.
Yeah,
so that's
good.
That's a big difference.
Brill. So, so why do you feel you train still? Like, I mean, obviously I know you've trained for a long time and been on the bikes and stuff like that. So why do you still train consistently?
I think I'm just an active person, really. People say you don't sit still, kind of thing.
It's true though, isn't it, Phil?
But I think I feel good about myself. I feel reasonably confident, and I think it's that if you do something that you enjoy, I think working out with a group, I don't get anything, and this is for your audience. If you're intimidated about going to a gym and you don't know what equipment to use and they're all fancy machines and you're not sure are people going to look at you, stare at you, just come here. It can be free weights, it can be just exercises, but everybody just joins in and assists you and help you, and that's a big thing. The biggest thing is getting people through the door, getting people out of the house, whether it's after work or before, whatever. Make that commitment. But if you feel good walking through that door, which I'll get 90% of your clients feel good walking back through that door, that they've done it, and that's the thing. And that's something that you achieve, I think, in Relentless. But it's the community spirit that you've built.
Man, cool.
So,
I agree. I think it's the main thing that keeps the team, growing, I suppose. But it's like you've got that staple of people that are always going to be there because they believe in helping each other and they believe in that community aspect. And I think it's something we've always tried to instill. I mean, with the charity things, I mean, you've had an input in the next one, either walk 10k or run a marathon. So I don't know what you're going to do right now.
no, I'm not sure.
You're not sure, but you're going to try and do your best. I mean, and see how far you go. But it's a case of finding a way to challenge everybody, but at their own levels, so that everyone's inclusive and that nobody gets left behind.
I've never done above a 10k, so I've done a few 10ks.
Right.
I've never run above a 10k.
Right. Okay.
So I think if I could manage an half marathon this time, I think that's a great challenge, and I think that's it's a challenge, and it's definitely something that's achievable without going to extreme. But you did say to everybody, why don't we run a marathon? So you might. I don't think I said that.
You did when we had our Christmas do. So like going on into your later years. Sorry, it sounds like this is your life sort of thing there, doesn't it? Like, what do you feel like the health benefits? Like, it definitely helps you carry on with work on a few things, doesn't it?
Yeah, people don't talk too much about illness, I think, but I've had Crohn's now for 20 years, and I've had the operation, and you think, how do you stay reasonably fit? Does Crohn's ruin your life? Does it run your life, or do you manage it? I manage that. So for people who suffer from an illness, long-term illness, it's always going to be with me. I think helping you train, eat the right things, and just generally look after yourself, that helps your health as well as your mental well-being. I think it helps your health. So I don't ail from much at all. I've had a few injuries in the past doing sport,
Yeah.
which you've helped me with. But I think fitness is just a way of life now. I think if people like, it's not a diet, it's not a lifestyle change as such. If you just manage it back into your lifestyle, it becomes an everyday thing then.
Yeah.
So whether it's once, twice, 3 times a week, you try and train. And it doesn't have to be an hour slogging out at the gym. It can be half an hour, 45 minutes, you know, at home, doing whatever online.
It could even be walking, just active lifestyle. Is
Walking is great, and
yeah.
great. People think they have to just run everywhere, and they don't, you know.
No.
So.
No, I agree. But like, I think with the health benefits as well, like, you still go on the bike, you're still on the fast bikes and stuff like that. Do you feel like it's helped you maintain going on that?
Yeah, I think so. So riding the motorbikes on circuit is something I really enjoy, and I've got to keep reasonably fit for that. I think.
Got to be strong, haven't you?
Yeah.
As well.
You've got to be aware. You've got to have your senses about your kind of thing. So I think training, it just doesn't train your body; it trains your mind as well. I think, and you overcome things. So the other thing that we kind of touched on with the illness is nutrition. I've never really looked at nutrition in a big way, but that's something I'd be interested in. The feedback from your clients that we've seen is evident that nutrition does play quite a strong part with some people.
Yeah.
So that's something I'd personally be interested in pursuing.
Yeah, we've talked about that as well, and obviously in the past, haven't we, where we've tried to get you eating the right foods and stuff like that, and the health benefits that come with that nutrition. And hopefully at some point I can do sort of a nutritional presentation. I know you've been to a couple in the past. So I think with some of the results that the people that are on the nutrition aspect or the nutrition plans that we've got at the moment, we're seeing more results. But it's not necessarily that's all we're aiming for, because some people want the nutrition to lose weight, feel good in certain clothes, whereas some people just want to forget about work or life stresses and just come in, just have an hour where they're just focusing on them. Just switch on, switch off, and just make sure that they're, just getting out of their own head, really.
Yeah.
But when it comes back to the nutrition, it's just finding a way of something that fits in with your lifestyle. I know you don't necessarily drink much. You might have a bit of wine now and again, don't you? But just having healthier options, make sure you're not having fatty foods, and not coming to the gym and feeling like shit, I'm gonna have to really bust a gut now because I'm feeling it. I've always said to you, we just need to try and make sure that we're eating more calories, really, because you're always on the go, because you don't really sit still. You're going to burn a lot more calories than somebody who is sat down all day, or is it? I know you at work you sat down, but you're on the move all the time, aren't you? So
I think
you don't stop really, do you, Phil?
No. You probably average about 2,300 calories a day, but I don't know whether that's an average or what, but
that's higher than most.
Yeah.
Especially if you get older, your metabolism slows down and a few other things, so you're less inclined to move as much. But the fact is, sometimes you do 3 sessions here, sometimes you do 1, but if not, you're out on the bike or you're out walking with Wendy. And so have you got any questions on nutrition?
I don't know whether that's for the camera kind of thing, but
no, let's do it.
What gives you more energy? I don't think I lack in energy, but sometimes at a class you might feel a little bit fatigued, where you think, I didn't feel like that last week. So I think you question yourself, when I'm driving back from the gym, wonder why I felt a little bit tired tonight. And it might be something as simple as nutrition. What have you ate today, Phil? Not a great deal. We had a busy day. I just got a bit of cereal in the morning. Well, what have you had in between that? Not much. What do you expect? Your body needs fuel.
And it needs all 3. So it needs fats for physiological. We need protein for lean muscle building, tissue building and tissue repair from muscle damage. And then we need carbohydrates for general energy. So one thing that I'll do with most of my clients, and what I suggest to most people, is if you're tracking your calories, on training days, maybe have 50 to 100 calories more, including a higher percentage of carbohydrates. So knock down your fats by maybe 5 or 10 grams and have 15 to 20 grams of carbohydrates more just before you train. Try and get some carbohydrates and or some protein in, but generally I'd say a combination of both is going to be the best. Sometimes it might be a simple case of getting a piece of fruit or squares bar or something that's just going to give you a sugar rush when you're training. This is more for when you're training late time in the day. So some people don't necessarily like to eat a big bowl of porridge before they come training at 6 o'clock in the morning. So they might have a late carbohydrate dense meal, which will sit in the body and give them more energy. So if we can get protein and carbs throughout the day, and then recovery, make sure that you're having protein and carbs again.
So like a shake or something, because there's a lot of emphasis on shakes.
A shake's a quick, easy option. I mean, I'd prescribe people shakes and stuff, but that's when you're busy and stuff like that. Now, if you can get food from a natural source or cooking from a natural position, or outsourcing it from the supermarket, probably not as much pre-cooked stuff, but if you can get normal food or normal meats and stuff like that, that's be your best source of protein. But shakes are a good supplement. I mean, we class them as a meal, but they're a supplement really. They're just an adequate supplement. But getting protein into your body after you've trained is probably one of the most important things, especially if you want to think about losing weight and building muscle. We go through a process called protein synthesis, so we want to do that after we've trained.
So what would you recommend, say, before training? So an hour before you train?
Dependent on time, but anything as simple as... have you heard of fast-releasing carbs and slow-releasing carbs?
No.
So fast-releasing carbs, so there's something called the glycemic index. So I don't know if we're going to cut all this. The stuff that's like slow-releasing carbs, such as certain pastas, there's loads of different ones, certain fruits and stuff like that, they're slow releasing. So that means that it takes the body time to digest and break down when it comes to sort of insulin spike. And then you've got fast releasing carbs. So ironically, things like bagels, which are high in sugar, bananas actually, and certain other carbohydrates, if you need a quick spike, or say like a squares bar or even a rice cake, something that's quite quick releasing means that it'll go up and then back down straight away.
And would you say that, say, an hour before you go training? Or
you could do, an hour, and maybe an hour and a half. Obviously, the more slow releasing it is, the less it's going to have an impact if you're training. But if you want something fast releasing before, or you're absolutely knackered by then. So sometimes you might do an extensive session and you might just crave chocolate or something, and straight away you eat it and you feel like, right, I feel a little bit better. That's your body saying, I need some sugar back into my body. I need some glucose, not sugar. Glucose. So it's replacing glucose, which is expended during exercise and stuff like that. So there is different types of carbohydrates. So people say that carbs and fats are not necessarily good, but it's a lot of crap.
Certain fats.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really wanting to cut weight, then something like a keto diet, it's going to obviously limit the amount of carbohydrates you get, but it's also going to limit your energy levels. So you've got to have a good balance between protein, fats and carbs. And going back on what I said with what we do with clients and what bodybuilders and the like do, training days you'll have more carbs and less fats, and then your rest days you'll have lower carbs and more fats and stuff like that. But because you don't need to expend as much energy on your rest days, you're generally going to have a little bit lower. So there's so many different ways you can go with it, but as a general rule of thumb, I would start most clients who have no experience in nutrition. I just make sure that they're in a calorie deficit, give them probably 100 to 150 calories, even more in reserve, because there's going to be discrepancies when they come to weighing the food, or like hidden calories, like the coffee we're having now. So that's 160 calories straight away, and that's stuff that you don't really take into account. So when somebody's starting a diet plan, they're trying to measure everything out, they're trying to look at everything.
Yeah, that's right. And
then there's going to be sort of like oils or or butter that they use, or they miss whey and stuff like that. So there's always going to be
something you've missed.
Yeah, so it's just a case of trying and tested with people. Someone like yourself, I'd just be saying get some carbohydrates before you train, and make sure you have protein after you train. So I'd probably just say for you, because you're coming at 5:30, go and have your evening meal have it ready for about 7:30. Get a shower, have your evening meal.
Chicken, fish.
Yeah, rule of thumb, imagine a plate, half the plate is your lean meat or whatever meat or
Yeah.
fish, whatever, and then quarter of your plate would be like vegetables, and then the other quarter would be like a simple carbohydrate such as potatoes, pasta, rice, whatever like that. And I just generally do it like it's a general rule of thumb, and you're getting the right stuff in there.
That's quite simple to kind of plan in then.
Yeah, and another thing, I mean, I can send you this, is a flexible meal planner. So this is something that I've just been doing at the moment, where you literally, you say, right, you pick a certain meat, that sometimes includes your fat, depending on what sort of meat it is, because obviously most meats have got fats, bar, you know, like egg sausages and 5% mince and all that stuff, so it's lower in fat. And then you've got your carbohydrate, which would be your potatoes, and then your other carbohydrate. Then on top of that, you've got veg, other protein sources, and they will come in as your snacks. And then obviously you've got other fats that come in. So whether it don't come from like fish and stuff like that, your other fats will come from like flax seeds, chia seeds, and then like peanut butter, just loads of different nuts and stuff like that. So it's just finding that balance and having good healthy snacks. General rule of thumb for most people, try and keep your snacks, at least one of your snacks, about 100 calories per day. But it depends on how much you're eating. So if we're eating to put weight on, obviously you're going to have to be eating in excess of 2,000, 3,000 calories. Someone like, you know, James Tilsley, he's probably eating 3,500, 4,000 calories a day, unless he's cutting, and then he's probably going down to 1,500, 1,800 calories. But that's when they're doing the Stairmaster and absolutely knackered. But that's the
balance.
Yeah, that's the opposite end of the spectrum. What like bodybuilders do and what the general public, the Joe public does. You know, the Joe public's, I just want you to
eat and
train.
I guess it's like you said, it's what your aim. So I guess at my age now, I just want a good general fitness. I want a decent physique, but I'm never going to be massive because I don't commit my life to it. And
that's
some
fine.
people do.
Yeah.
So I think, again, just having that general information about the nutrition helps.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, you manage it doesn't manage you kind of thing. So you're not obsessed with nutrition, but actually you're complementing your training and looking after yourself. So.
Yeah, it's just a balance thing. It's just, and it's also just making sure that what you're doing is what suits you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Let's have a look at some of the other questions.
I don't know that I was supposed to look at the camera, not that we don't.
No, you kind of.
We
don't really necessarily need to. It'll be zoomed in and zoomed out and stuff like that. But it'll get like when it's focusing on you, look at you, and vice versa. So we have touched on that, so I'm probably not going to go over that. But have you? Well, I know you have done, but have you had to overcome any obstacles in your training journey? So has anything happened in the last couple of years?
Injuries, was that
yes,
count?
Injuries,
yeah. I came off the bike pretty bad.
About 2 years ago now.
It's 3.5 years ago.
Is it really?
I came off the bike, yeah. Right. They thought I'd had a heart attack. I went out, I'd done a lap, and on the next lap, I don't remember really anything after that. And I blacked out and went off circuit about 100 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Somersaulted.
Remember?
Got airlifted away to the hospital. Yeah. Don't remember anything of it. But coming back from that, one was concussion. Never suffered from concussion before.
You was a little bit dazed for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and you don't appreciate it. People are telling you, but you don't appreciate it at the time. So quite a while recovering from that. But I tore a ligament in my shoulder completely, and I had to have surgery on that. And then having had the surgery, I came back to you. And to be fair, we probably took about 2 to 3 months to get back into.
Of shouting at you, telling you not to lift heavier weights.
Not listening, because you think in your mind you have to get back to the weight. But what the physio said and you said, because you didn't meet each other, but you kind of worked together, because he asked me for feedback from you, and likewise you asked me for feedback from him. And he said, you can't stress enough how important the physio was to get the range of movements back in my shoulders and my upper body. And that's critical on the bike. And I wanted to get back on the bike, and a lot of people didn't want me to get back on the bike. But again, we talk about training, what does it achieve? It gives you mental strength, people kept saying to me, I'm not worried about getting back on the bike, and we had another track booked within about 4 months, and I gave myself that 4 month, and I told the surgeon the same. And it's about applying yourself as to what do you want, so you kind of push through things, but listen to people. That's the thing.
That's. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said. I was. Well, just going on from like what I think this is more as a male, I think, and just says more about your stature as a person. It's like, because you always want to do well, and you want to make sure you look after your body, and make sure everybody around you is looked after. It's kind of your nature to be like, right, I want to be this independent, strong man sort of thing. And when there were certain times where we had to scale back the exercise because it could cause more injury, the old Phil, or the Phil before the injury, would have been like, no, come on, we've got to do this. But I think through arguing or discussion,
listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain aspects that you should never listen to me in life, but I think with that, it's like you fortunately understood that I was trying to make sure that you could train and not cause any further damage and stuff like that. So I was quite fortunate with that. So we had to take time, didn't we, where we even got on a bench and started doing like just a barbell again, where you had been used to benching 50, 60 kilo.
And I think it's that, you kind of throw yourself back to where you were when we were strength training, probably 8-9 years ago, and you think, well, I should be doing that. But actually, no. I think what you've got to accept and manage yourself is you are older, your body's doing differently, it'll, I won't say operate differently, but it'll react differently.
Yeah.
And if you feel fatigued, why do you feel fatigued? Have you overdone it? Have you not eaten enough? Those kind of things. And I think generally people are more aware. So I think the more we talk about it, the more people feel more, oh, well, that's okay then, because I can experience that and I can relate to that.
Yeah. So. And I think with that, the response since then, I mean, I didn't realise it was so long ago. I thought it was like a couple of years ago for some reason. But your response has been, you've been able to come back to training, and with touch wood, it's just been absolutely fine, hasn't it, for a long time.
Well, I think
now.
we did about 10 private lessons with my son.
Yeah.
Training together, just working up to it. And then you said, I think you're right to come back into the classes. Yeah. Which is great, because you wouldn't let me back into the classes, not because you didn't think I could do it eventually, but you said we don't want to affect that injury. Yeah. You want to recover from the injury. And I think it's that, trying to get your mind around what you think you should be doing, but actually what you should be doing. Yeah. If that makes sense to people.
Yeah, it's again in your industry, it's like the car should be okay to drive, but look, we're just going to do a few more checks to make sure everything's
absolutely
all right. Whereas if you just said, yeah, well, it probably will roll, the wheels will roll, the steering wheel will turn, but there's going to be potential to have malfunctions. We'll take it for a little bit of a test drive before we give it you, and stuff like that. And that's what we kind of had to do with the training, really. So, I mean, a car doesn't argue back, but Phil Eubank does. I'm joking. So I think I'm going to ask this question. I want you to sort of take Wendy's perspective into this as well. So, how do you feel that sort of training for both of you impacts you in other aspects of your life? Like, you obviously you go to Wales a lot, you go on holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you find that by continuously training, it helps you go and enjoy your holidays without feeling lethargic and like you can't do things?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think, not every couple's the same. Couples are different, aren't they? Some people, I'm not joking, is they don't want to spend all that time together. We don't see that much of each other during the day. So if you can grab an hour, even if it's just training, you come and train together, is time together. Do we enjoy training together? Absolutely, absolutely. We mix with different people in the class, that as well. And as I say, it's that community. But finding the time to train together, you understand one another better. I think you appreciate one another more if somebody's struggling, are you struggling? And sometimes we'll go to the gym, Wendy's killed it, and I felt, that was a struggle.
Yeah. Stomach and core exercise, she used to beast it, doesn't she?
Unbelievable. Yeah. And I think that's the thing where, you see some of the girls in the class and women in the class, and they're absolutely killing certain exercises, and you think, I can't do
Where do they get that in it? Yeah, where do they get it from?
yeah.
I,
So,
I sometimes when I do occasionally train with you, like if I train with certain people, I'm like, I can't keep up with you here. Like, and it doesn't surprise you because you know the consistency's been there. But I think like you and Wendy, it's because you've consistently done it. Now it doesn't consume your life. Like if you miss a session here or there, or you cancel a session, it doesn't matter. But I think because you do it consistently, it's probably, you know, when you go on holiday now and again, Wendy will tell me that you've been on a run, or it won't have been like you're not going to run a marathon, you've not gone on like hell for leather down the beach or whatever, but it just helps. And then when
you don't go away thinking, oh, we've got to train, because you've trained all that time. So if you just do 1 or 2 sessions while you're away, if there's a gym or a walk or a run, yeah, we do that and we enjoy it and come back. And like I say, it's just maintaining. That's what it is. It's more of a maintenance, isn't it? Yeah. Rather than something drastic, just maintain it. And I think it's the same with the training. You know, just every week. If you can train twice a week, don't beat yourself up because you've only done it twice. If you can only manage it once, like you said, you could have a walk. You know, go walking in an evening, in the morning. That's sufficient.
Perfect. So let's go on to a little bit of like mindset and what does the gym give you in terms of not physically but like mentally? Do you find that it gives you clarity, just time for yourself?
I think we said this, didn't we, about just escaping. If you've got a tough job or you've had a tough day in life, just being a mother can be demanding, kind of thing, and getting away from the kids. If you have a tough day at work and your head's full of stuff, I used to play five-a-side a lot for years, and as soon as you get on that pitch, it goes completely. No matter, I don't care what's gone on, it just goes because for that 1 hour, you're just playing football. And
it's weird, you just forget, don't you? You just completely blank out, and then as soon as whatever stress you've got going on, as soon as you stop, you go, oh yeah, I've got something to not deal with, but like I've got something to sort out.
But you manage it better.
Yeah.
You've had a break from it. It's like anything. If you get in the car and go home, all the way home, it's going on in your head. You get in for tea. You might, if you've got kids, you might be short with the kids. You might be short with the wine. For what reason? Because it's still in you. So if you could go to the gym, come for an hour, it's gone again. So it's a great release, and I think people underestimate how it helps them mentally. There's a lot of talk about well-being, mental health these days, especially since COVID. I think people have a lot to learn about just doing stuff like this. Just go out in a community, work out. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's measuring you. You're just doing what they're doing. And that's what people are frightened of. And I would say, kick the fear, get in there, experience the relentless community, family. And that's what it is, it's a family. Yeah, and
again, it's like we all know each other, like we celebrate each other's wins, don't we? You know, if somebody's struggling, they'll go on there. I mean, even like 2 months ago, when Cindy put on about how just going into the gym, that's my wife, that's Mrs. Relentless, who, you know, sometimes finds it hard to get through the door. And I mean, even though I'm the one officiating the class, you know, I'm leading it, for her to feel it, and she put something out on the group, and honestly, the response was crazy.
And I think I said to her, I responded saying, I think the replies tell you something.
Yeah.
Answer. And she doesn't see that much of us, does she, to be fair? She's busy with her business.
Yeah.
So she'll train occasionally with us. But the warmth of people must have come across to her. And that must help people's well-being, that, as I say, it's not just words. People show that care. Yeah. And even if you've not been for months, you send a message like Cindy sent, and it touches so many, not just females, but guys in the group responded.
It lets everybody open up, doesn't it? You know, it's
absolutely. And it's brave to be able to say that, isn't it? It's such a public place on the WhatsApp group. So, I think you can't overestimate the impact mentally of keeping yourself reasonably fit and feeling good about yourself. That's what it's about, isn't it?
I think with myself and again Cindy, and you know, just thinking about the challenges of mental health sometimes, and like how exercise can help. So I remember COVID time, and we was all, obviously everybody was in the same boat of not working and all that. Went through a tricky time in my life, and I decided that I'd not run for about a year, and I said, right, I'm going to go and do a marathon. Now, the reason it was something that was kind of extreme, and Cindy's done the exact same thing. She did the Manchester Marathon. It's for Rochdale Mind. We did it for charity and stuff like that. And obviously Rochdale Mind charity is something that we always do our stuff for because of the mental health application. And the reason to do that is the fear aspect as well. Like you said, if you can go and do something that makes you fearful at the start, it'll help you grow. You know, if you put yourself in an uncomfortable position, just a little bit uncomfortable, test the waters, then you think, you know what, it's not too bad. I can actually go a little bit further with that. It could be relentless. It could be Charlotte's class. It could be anywhere. Just going into a gym or doing something that scares you a little bit, but you know, safe to do so. Yes, it is scary. It is overwhelming. But once you do it, you go. There's a sense of relief that you know what, I can get over this. I can overcome this. And I can do more. And whatever you do, I think if you're always pushing to, you know, challenge yourself, then that's where you grow. Growth comes from uncomfortability. So I think training on the whole and the mental health aspect and how what Cindy put on, and straight away everybody, it opened the floodgates. It just makes us realise that we're all here to help each other, and there are people that are struggling. You know, people go missing now and again from the gym. It's like, I've not seen you in a while, and it's not, where have you been? It's more of, is everything okay? Are you alright? Can we help you? And then as soon as they put it out, then there's enough people in this gym. There's 100 people on the group at the moment, so there's enough people there that want to be like, let's rally around. I know obviously we'll talk about COVID and how people in the previous gym, they supported each other in that. You know, they've made sure that the gym was safe because that was the community aspect and stuff like that. So people will always help each other.
I think so. I think so.
And I love the fact that with my clientele, because I've got a few older clients and stuff like that, you know, families like come with the daughters. So many of them come with like sons and daughters. But because they're all busy individuals or busy professionals, should we say, they're all understanding that family aspect, and I think that's really important. Like we've got a group that, you know, put family first, and in some way, Relentless is a family. It's not naturally a family, but the people in it become like friends and family. So that's what really keeps it going. So yeah, right. Couple more questions because you're probably hungry. How did the sort of like, what's the personal support like, and how do you feel it benefits you and potentially others?
Do you mean in
person and maybe communication? In Relentless.
I think the banter on an evening is good. Like
generally aimed at me.
Well, I'm not sure whether we all get the banter, but I think that it's just the support. You know, like you say, you think that nobody will have noticed you missing, but I came last night and Wendy's not well at the moment. She's got like a chest infection, really, really bad. And about 4 or 5 people said, "Where's Wendy? Are you on your own tonight?" You know, just nice. And then I give that to Wendy when I go home, saying, "People, your fan club have asked about you again," that kind of thing. And it's just that nice warm feel, I think, because I think if people disappear from the gym for a few weeks or so, or a month, they might just be having a difficult time. They just think, "Oh no, nobody will have missed me," and actually that's not right. People do miss them, and then they think, "No, what's wrong? What's wrong?" So that's that community, that family connection, I think. And then you're glad you've come back. You know, when they do come back, you're glad that they've come back. It's that
initial, again, going back to the thing, it's that fear that like, oh my God, I'm going to be forgotten, or oh my God, I'm really going to struggle and everybody's going to have moved on and forgot about me. But it's like, because then people communicate on that group, so it's like, they'll either say, "I'm coming back," or "It's great to be back," and then straight away people are like rallying around. I mean, even last night, we had these 2 new girls who come in, and I thought, let's just give them a round of applause. That first session, that fear.
And just say on your way out, say, "Hey, you know what, you did well tonight," and they kind of look around like, "Oh, I I don't know you, but
but straight away you feel
it gives them a bit of a lift.
And you know what they'll do? So many of them come up to me, and whether it be you or anybody else. I mean, obviously we can't really miss Dave and stuff like that, but people come up to me and go, "Oh, thanks for putting me with so and so, because they were really helpful. They really supported me." I mean, Charlotte did it last night, but certain people I'll be like, leave you to it. And these people who are new to it, they'll go, "Oh, I felt really welcome," and it's not necessarily welcomed by me; it's because they're welcomed by the group. Yeah. And
I think it was somebody's first time last week, the week before, and we did the run, and it was quite cold coming back from the run. And as we went out, she said, "How far do we run? Which traffic lights do we run to?"
You didn't wind her up, did you?
No. But again, it's that nervousness. But when we got back, I said, "Hey, you did well on the run," and it's like
straight away they grow, don't they?
The kind of belief in themselves. And I think again, we covered that so many times today, but I don't think you can overestimate the connection of the support here. It's just general support. It's not false. It's just so natural. It's general
positive.
People
comments
want to see other people develop.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you've got quite a gift really in being a PT, because you're changing people's lives, Matt. I think that's it. In a nutshell, you will change people's lives.
That was always the aim.
You enable them to change their life and to feel better about themselves. And if they look in that mirror and think, you know what, I like that person I'm seeing, that helps them mentally. And the group contribute to that, but you give them that.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't ever put a price on somebody sending you a message of like, "Thank you so much for your help," and you do it in your job because you manage about 50 people, don't you? So when you help somebody out with work, or you give a bit of time off, or whatever, compassionate leave or whatever, you can't put a price on being a good person. No. And it's not necessarily that you do it for the the recognition of the world. It's that you do it for your own self.
That's because you are.
Yeah, because of who you are, and that's always something that I wanted to do as a personal trainer. I think you do it. I think again Cindy does it and stuff like that. But I think with the difference in terms what I want to achieve in the gym and what I want to achieve with the clients is I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah. Doesn't
matter what anybody else is doing, as long as you're progressing your own journey. If you're getting, if you want to run a 5k and you want to knock a minute off it, great. That's your personal achievement.
Yeah.
Some people might be wanting to lose 4 stone. Great, they want to do the first show or high rocks, whatever. Everybody's got their own thing, but there is not one person, and I don't allow it, and I'll never will, who comes through that door and belittles anybody, or everybody needs to leave their ego at the door, and help each other, because it's not a one man band. It's everybody needs to succeed.
Team. It's a family, and we're equal. As soon as we walk through that door, we're all equal.
Yeah.
And I think if you get some pleasure from helping somebody else and seeing them develop, there's no better gift, is there, than somebody saying thank you. I think at the end of it.
Oh, you can't put a price on it. You can earn as much money as you want, but you can't put a price on saying somebody send you a text, which not everybody has to see. So, brilliant. Right, final question. What's next for you in your health and fitness journey? Running a marathon?
Half marathon. We won't push it, maybe. I think, again, you get to an age you have to just be realistic. If the knees give up, can you walk a bit? I think sometimes you'll tell yourself, "Well, if I've got to walk, I've failed." And I don't think that. I think differently now, where, you know what, it's just about achieving that goal. And if your goal is to do a half marathon, for me, in May, then that's what I'm going to do. I think it's good to have goals. I don't say targets. It's good to have a goal if I can get there. It doesn't matter when you get there, does it really?
No, it doesn't.
If you get there and you're progressing, like you said, each time you progress, then just keep that goal in mind. And if you reach that goal, then maybe, like you say, actually, I can do a bit more than that.
Yeah, just move the pin a little bit and go a bit further. But
with that support we have in May as the group, we're already talking about it. You got Ryan and James, who I think are like athletes, but they enjoy it, and they bring you on. I think, and I think that's a positive thing. If you've got a little bit of doubt, there's enough support around you, and we all do better in a group. If we did that workout that you put out there, we'd give up after half an hour. Majority of people, being honest, would give up after half an hour, thinking, oh, I've done enough now.
But you look around the room.
But it's that group, and they're all probably all feeling the same, but they all complete it.
Yeah.
And you think that's the power of it.
Yeah, that's the power of
working out
all instead of one sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And that's why it's going. Obviously, this is from what I've found. Obviously, I train people online who can't get to the gym, and it's effective, and we do a training session. But I've found that I've probably had equal amount of results from the people that we train in here, because the intensity that they work at. Not saying that none of my online clients don't work at that intensity, but I know for a fact that when they come in here, they're going to come in and be like, wow, this is what level I need to work at if I want to achieve my goals. It's not like to the point where you're going to pass out. Occasionally people take a breather and stuff like that, that's fine. But they would probably stop halfway through. And it's the same with Charlotte's lot, and you know, sometimes that's why classes are more effective, because it's just basically get in, get it done, and go home. Now, it's not going to be for everybody, because some people like to work alone, time frames and stuff like that. Some like to just do a bit more strength. So it's finding what works for you, but I can guarantee that if you come in here and you do the session, you're going to know about it and you're going to make results. So.
I think some people need that social side of working out. Yeah. Some people can work from home on their own. Some people need to be in a workplace. I think it's the same in fitness.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what a difference it makes to that person. At home, they might not be bothered. At work, they're a different person. In that social environment, in a gym, they're different. They give more. So
brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for that, Phil.
Cheers,
really
Matt. Nice
good
to
chat.
talk.
That.
Nice to catch up.
Shut that down now. Really, thank you, mate. Recording. 45.